Namo Vishnupadaya
Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhakti Vedanta
Srimate Bhakti Vedanta
Swamin iti namine
Swamin iti namine
Namaste Saraswate Deve
Namaste Saraswate Deve
Gauravani Pracharine
Gauravani Pracharine
Nirvishesha Shunyavadi
Nirvishesha Shunyavadi
Paschatya Deshatarine
Achatya Deshatarine
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya
Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya
Prabhu Nityananda
Prabhu Nityananda
Shri Advaita Gadadara
Sri Advaita Gadadara
Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Hare Rama Hare Rama
Hare Rama Hare Rama
Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Rama Rama Hare Hare.
So starts from verse number 12. Arjuna, after hearing the essence of Bhagavad Gita in 4 verses, he responds to Lord Krishna by saying his opinion. He appreciates or he glorifies position of Lord Krishna in these 2 verses. Well, if we can recite the verse. Arjuna Vacha
Arjuna Vacha
Param Brahma Param Dhamma
Parabrahma Paramdhama
Pavitram Paramam Bhavan
Pavitram Paramam Bhavan
Purusham Shashvatam Divyam
Purusham Shashvatam Divyam
Adi Devam Ajam Vibhum
Adi Devam Ajam Vibhum
Ahustvam Rishayah Sarve
Ahustvam Rishya Sarve
Devarshir Naradastata
Devarshi Naradastata
Asito Devalo Vyasa
Asito Devalo Vyasa
Swayam Chaiva Bravishime.
Swayam Chaiva Bravishme.
Once again, Arjuna Vacha
Arjuna Vacha
Param Brahma Param Dhamma
Param Brahma Param Dhamma
Pavitram Paramam Bhavan
Pavitram Paramam Bhava
Purusham Shashvatam Divyam
Purusham Shashvatam Divyam
Adi Devam Ajam Vibhum
Adi Devam Ajam Vibhum
Ahustvam Rishayah Sarve
Ahustvam Rishayam Sarve
Devarshir Naradastata
Devarshi Naradastata
Asito Devalo Vyasaha
Asito Devalo Vyasah
Swayam Chaiva Bravishime.
Swayam Chaiva Bravishime.
So Arjuna is saying here, you are Param Brahma, you are the supreme absolute, Param Dhamma, the supreme abode, Pavitram Paramam Bhavan, and you are the supreme purifier, and Paramam, you are the absolute truth. Purusham Shashvatam, and you are the eternal divine person. Adi Devam, you are the original Lord, primeval Lord. Ajam, you are unborn. Vibhum, you are all powerful. Then he says, Ahustvam Rishayah Sarve. And all this is spoken by all the great sages. Ahustvam Rishayah Sarve. Who and all these sages? Devarashi Naradastata, like the sage among demigods Narada. Asita Devala Vyasaha. Asita Devala and Vyasa. Swayam Chaiva Bravishme. And you yourself are declaring it to me that what is your position. So in that way he says, Arjuna said, you are the supreme Brahman, the ultimate Param Brahma, the supreme abode, Param Dhamma, and purifier, Pavitram, the absolute truth and the eternal divine person, Paramam Bhavan. You are the primeval Lord, Purusham Shashvatam Divyam, Adi Devam, transcendental and original, Ajam, and you are the unborn and all pervading beauty, Vibhum. All the great sages such as Narada, Asita, Devala, and Vyasa proclaim this of you, and now you yourself are declaring it to me. So in that way, all the great sages prayed. Similarly, you have declared what is your position. So many people might think, see, Krishna and Arjuna are like friends. So Arjuna is trying to artificially glorify Krishna of his position, which sometimes happens naturally outside. So, but here Arjuna is saying, no, I am not speaking as a friend. I am speaking what great sages have glorified about you, and you yourself have certified your position. So in that way, It is a true glorification. It is not artificial glorification. So what happened to Arjuna after hearing the 4 verses of entire Bhagavad Gita? So by hearing the essential 4 verses, he became completely free from all doubts and accepted Krishna as the Supreme Lord. Generally, men and demigods, out of ignorance, they think they are absolute and independent of Lord Krishna. So that ignorance is removed perfectly by the discharge of devotional service. One comes to one's natural swabhava, constitutional position. Now, by the grace of the Lord, Arjuna is accepting Krishna as a supreme truth in accordance with the Vedic injunction. Because Vedesta sarver ahameva vedyaha. From all the Vedas, we should come to that conclusion that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. That should be the essence of studying all the Vedas. Now, Arjuna has already come to that conclusion. So then people may say, is Arjuna flattering or speaking to flatter Krishna? So whatever Arjuna said in these 2 verses is the absolute truth, confirmed by Vedic scriptures. Vedic injunctions affirm that only one who takes to devotion service to Supreme Lord can understand him and others cannot. So Krishna also clearly says, "Oh, bhaktya mam abhijanati." Only by bhakti one can understand him and not by any other process. So each and every word of this verse spoken by Arjuna is confirmed by Vedic injunctions. So then various references from scriptures accepting Krishna's position. From Kena Upanishad, it is stated that the Supreme Brahman is a rest for everything, and Krishna has already explained that everything is resting upon him. Then Mundaka Upanishad confirms that the Supreme Lord in whom everything is resting can be realized only by those who constantly think of him. And only in devotional service to Krishna can one understand his position and get rid of his material body. Next, in Vedas, the Supreme Lord is accepted as the purest of the pure. And one who understands that Krishna is the purest of the pure can become purified from all sinful activities. So what has to be understood from these verses for us? So Krishna is the absolute truth, Supreme Lord, and one should always meditate upon him and enjoy one's transcendental relationship with him. Then he is the supreme existence, free from bodily needs, birth and death. He is the supreme origin. He has no cause, for he is the cause of all causes, and everything is emanating from him. This perfect knowledge can be had by the grace of the Supreme Lord. So how do we understand? We may do all our endeavors, but to understand the Lord, Lord's mercy is required. Acharya's mercy is required for us. Then how important is the grace of Krishna? Arjuna expresses himself through the grace of Krishna. And if we want also to understand Bhagavad Gita, so we should accept these statements without any doubting mentality. And unless one is in the disciplic succession, he cannot understand Bhagavad Gita. It is not possible by academic qualifications. So those who are proud of academic education, despite so much evidence in Vedic literature, stick to their obstinate conviction that Krishna is an ordinary person. For them, they cannot understand Krishna or Bhagavad Gita. Simply they become envious of the Lord. So various Vedic references for us, quoting from Kata Upanishad, Tasmin eva shritaha sarve tadyu natyeti kashyana. All things should take shelter in him alone, and nothing can surpass him. And Shvetashvatara Upanishad, which says, Jnatva devam muchyate sarva papaihi. Jnatva devam, for one who knows the Lord, muchyate sarva papaihi. He becomes free from all sinful activities. Sarvam papmanam tarati, na yenam papmam tarati. So sarvam papmanam tarati. The Lord surpasses all sin. Na yenam papmam tarati. Sin does not overcome him. Even in Gopala Tapani Upanishad it is said, Tasmat Krishna eva paro devas, tam dhyayet, tam raset, tam bhajet, tam yajet. So Tasmat, therefore, Krishna eva paro devaha. Krishna is the Lord beyond all the material modes. Tam dhyayet, one should meditate upon him. Tam raset, one should relish him. Tam bhajet, one should serve him. Tam yajet, one should worship. So these are the references from all Vedic literatures. These are all from Upanishads mainly. Kata Upanishad, Svetvastrattara Upanishad, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, Gopalatapani Upanishad. So there are various Vedic perspectives also. So Prabhupada quotes this story many times in his lectures and all. So one day, Narada Muni was passing by in a village. So he came across a Brahmana. So Brahmana, as soon as he saw Narada Muni, he offered his respects and prayed to him. Oh, my dear personality, where are you going? Are you going to Vaikuntha? If you are going to meet the Lord, can you please ask him one question? What is that? So when I am going to get liberated? Narada Muni said, okay, all right, I shall ask him. As Narada Muni proceeded, he saw a cobbler sitting under a tree, and he was cleaning or making his shoes for business. He was repairing some shoes. Similarly, the cobbler also asked Narada Muni, oh my dear personality, are you going to see the Lord in Vaikuntha? So will you please inquire, when will I get liberated? So Narada Muni went to Vaikuntha planets. He met the Lord. He offered his prayers. Then he requested the Lord the question put forward by this Brahmana and that cobbler. So then as soon as Lord heard about the situation, Lord explained that the cobbler, after leaving this body, will come back to him immediately. Then Narada Muni asked, what about that Brahmana? At that time, Lord was very silent. So Narada Muni asked, please Lord, please clarify. So Lord said, he may have to wait a number of births. I do not know when he is coming. So Narada Muni became astonished, and he finally said, I can't understand the mystery of this. Narayana said, that you will see. When they ask you, what is the Lord doing in Vaikuntha, tell them that I am trying to thread an elephant through the eye of a needle. So Narada Muni came back, and after some time he was visiting the same village. He met the Brahmana there. So the Brahmana communicated, what happened, sir? Did you meet the Lord? And what did Lord say? And what was Lord doing at that time? So the Brahmana, when Brahmana asked this question, Narada Muni said, Lord was sitting in the Vaikuntha, and he was trying to needle an elephant through the eye of a needle. So as soon as Narada Muni answered, the Brahmana said, I don't believe such nonsense. So Narada Muni could understand that Brahmana had no faith in the position of the Lord. He's simply reading books, but he has no understanding about the Lord's capacity. Then Narada Muni left and went further. He saw the cobbler, who asked him, oh my dear sir, have you met the Lord? And what was the Lord doing? So Narada Muni explained that Lord was trying to pass an elephant through the eye of a needle. So the cobbler began to cry. He said, the Lord is so wonderful, he can do anything. So then Narada Muni asked him, do you believe that Lord can push an elephant through the hole of a needle? The cobbler said, why not? Of course, I believe it. Narada Muni said, how can you believe? He said, I am sitting under a banyan tree, and you can see this tree has many fruits, and each fruit has many seeds, and each seed has the capacity of becoming such a big tree. If such a big tree has been encased into such a small seed, why can't Lord push an elephant through the eye of a needle? So this is called faith. It is not a question of blind believing. There is a strong reason for him to believe in the capacity of the Lord. If Krishna can place such a huge tree in such a small, tiny little seed, so it is not astonishing that he can keep all planetary system floating in space through his energy. So that is the position of the Lord. And this is what the faith is required for us. So whatever education we read, whatever understanding we have, that should come into a reality of having the strong conclusion about the position of the Lord. So now, this is the fourth qualification of Arjuna. Earlier we have mentioned 3 qualifications. Why Bhagavad Gita is spoken to Arjuna. This is the 4th qualification. So all of you can recite the verse. Sarvam etad ratam manye.
Sarvam etam ratam manye.
Yanmam vadashi Keshava.
Enmam vadasi Kesava.
Nahite Bhagavan Vyaktim.
Nahite Bhagavan Viktim.
Vidur Devana Danavaha.
Vidur Devana Danavaha.
Sarvam etad ratam manye.
Sarvam etat ratam manye.
Yanmam vadashi Keshava.
Enmam vadasi Kesava.
Nahite Bhagavan Vyaktim
Nahite Bhagavan Viktim.
Vidur Devana Danavaha.
Vidur Devana Danavaha.
So Krishna is saying, Sarvameta Dhrutam Manye. Whatever you have explained unto me, Yanmam Vadashi Keshava, I accept it without any doubt. Nahite Bhagavan Vyaktim. Vidur Devana Danavaha. Neither Devas or the Danavas do not believe in your personality. So, O Krishna, I totally accept as truth. Sarvameta Dhrutam Manye. All that you have explained unto me, Yanmam Vadashi Keshava. Neither the gods nor demons, Vidur, Devana Danavaha, O Lord, know thy personality. Nahite Bhagavan Viktim, Viduhu. So Arjuna herein confirms that persons of faithlessness and demoniac nature cannot understand Krishna. So this is the consideration. If you are faithless and if you are demoniac, he cannot understand the Lord. Even he is not even known to demigods. So what to speak of ordinary scholars of this material world? And even in the second verse of Bhagavad Gita, he clearly already in this 10th chapter only, Krishna said, Aham adirhi devanam name vidu suragana prabhavamna maha rushayah. Name vidu suragana. Even the demigods or the great rishis, they do not know about me completely. The same point is been communicated. So what is the importance of parampara system? So Bhagavad Gita should be understood in the parampara system. And when the parampara was lost, Arjuna was again selected to regenerate it. 4th chapter, 2nd shloka. Evam parampara praptam imam rajrishyo viduhu. This knowledge was coming in the Rajrishi parampara. Sakalane hamahata yogo nasta parantapa. Over a period of time, that knowledge appears to be lost. So Arjuna was selected as the recipient of that knowledge to regenerate it. That was explained in the 3rd verse. So by the grace of the Supreme Lord, Arjuna could understand that absolute truth as Lord Krishna and that he is the perfect one. So therefore, one should follow in the footsteps of Arjuna to understand the same perspective like Arjuna, so that we can receive the authority or one can become authority in understanding on Bhagavad Gita. So the acceptance of Arjuna that Krishna should be emulated, that we can understand the essence of Bhagavad Gita, then only we can understand that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. So first we have to be in the mood of Arjuna. We have to be a plain slate when we approach a Supreme Personality. Then our understanding, without doubt and having complete faith in the Acharya Parampara, then we will be able to get the knowledge about the Supreme Lord and Bhagavad Gita. So in one lecture, Prabhupada says, what is that Arjuna's question? As a spiritual master is a representative of Krishna, similarly, a student must also be a representative of Arjuna. Then Bhagavad Gita discussion will be nice. Sarvameta dhrutam manye yad vadashi Keshava. My dear Krishna, whatever you are accepting, whatever you are speaking, I accept. So that should be the process of understanding Krishna, Bhagavad Gita. Not that I don't like this, so I reject this portion. So I like this portion, I will accept it. This sort of studying Bhagavad Gita is useless nonsense. Whatever you have said, I accept it. So to become a representative of Krishna is not very difficult. Simply one has to become very sincere. Just like Arjuna accepted. My dear Keshava, Krishna, whatever you are speaking, I accept it in total without any reformation. So that is a true representative of Krishna. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Amara ajna hai tara desh yara deko tara kaho Krishna upadesh. So on my order, Amara ajna hai, one has to carry out the order of God. Then he becomes Krishna's representative. So Aristotle, he's a great philosopher. So one day, people used to come to him to understand various education, and he used to teach them free all different aspects of knowledge so that they could become ideal citizens and ideal human beings. And he was very liberal. And he used to accept anyone and everyone who is inquisitive to learn. One day, one young lady approached Aristotle. She dreamt that her son would be able to become an Aristotle student. So in her eagerness, she wanted that boy to be prepared for it right from his childhood. So she had asked him, Aristotle, when should I begin training my child so that he can become an ideal human being? So Aristotle asked, how old is your child? She said, he is 5 years old barely. So Aristotle said, waste no time, my dear lady. You are already 5 years late. So right from the childhood, this the knowledge about the Lord had to be taught. Even Prahlad Maharaj says, Kaumaram acharet prajno dharman bhagavataniha. Durlabam manusham janma tadapi adruvam artadam. So Kaumaram acharet prajno, this knowledge has to be taught from Kaumara. People should be aware. Kaumaram acharet prajno dharman bhagavataniha. This Bhagavata Dharma had to be taught. So Durlabam manusham janma, this human form of life is very rare. Tadapi adruvam, it is very temporary. It is rare and temporary. Then artadam, to make it meaningful, we have to start from the right age of childhood itself. So this is what Bhagavatam also says. So all of you can continue the next verse recitation. Swayam evatman atmanam.
Swayam evatmana
Atmanam.
Vetatvam purushottama.
Vetatvam Purushottama.
Bhuta bhavanam bhutesha.
Bhuta Bhavana Bhutesha.
Deva deva jagatpate.
Deva Deva Jagatpate.
Swayam evatmanatmanam.
Swayam evatmanatmanam.
Vetatvam purushottama.
Vetatvam Purushottama.
Bhuta bhavana bhutesha.
Bhuta Bhavana Bhutesha.
Deva deva jagatpate.
Deva Deva Jagatpate.
So Swayam evatmana atmanam, only you can understand about yourself. Vetatvam purushottama. Oh my dear Lord, about you and your potencies, only you can understand. You are Bhuta Bhavana, you are the origin of all. Bhuteshaha, the Lord of all living entities. Deva Deva, you are the God of all gods. Jagatpate, O Supreme Person, Lord of the universe. It says, indeed, you alone know yourself by your own potencies. Swayam evatmanatmanam vetatvam purushottama, O origin of all. Bhuta Bhavana, Lord of all beings. Bhuteshaha, God of gods. Deva Deva, O Supreme Person. Jagatpate, Lord of the universe. Purushottama. So who can know about Krishna? The Supreme Lord Krishna can be known by persons who are in a relationship with him through the discharge of devotional service, like Arjuna and his successors. So persons of demoniac or atheistic mentality cannot know about Krishna. Mental speculation leads one away from Krishna is a serious sin. So one who does not know Krishna should not try to comment on Bhagavad Gita. So how can one understand about Bhagavad Gita? So Bhagavad Gita is a statement of Krishna, and since it is a science of Krishna, it should be understood from Krishna as Arjuna understood it. It should not be received from atheistic persons. So what is the significance of the word Purushottama? The Supreme Person. So there are different levels of understanding of the Lord, Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagavan. Bhagavan is the supreme last stage of the absolute truth. Common man or even a liberated man who has realized impersonal future or Paramatma future are only a part understanding of the Lord. It is not the complete understanding. Sometimes impersonalists also understand Krishna as the authority, but cannot understand him as Purushottama. Then significance of the word Bhuteshaha as the supreme controller of everyone. Since he is the father of all living entities, so one may not know him as a supreme controller, but he is the supreme controller. He said, because of me, all the material nature, everything is working. All the material world, spiritual world is running behind me because of me. Deva Devaha, as a worshipable Lord of all the demigods. Even if one knows Krishna as the supreme controller of all living entities, still one may not know that he is the origin of all the demigods. Then Jagatpati, even if one knows him as the worshipable Lord of all demigods, one may not know that he is the supreme proprietor of everything. So what is Arjuna's instruction for us in this verse? The truth about Krishna is established in this verse by realization of Arjuna. And simply we should follow in the footsteps of Arjuna to understand Krishna as he is. So this is like when you are meek and humble, you are acknowledging that it is all about God, not about you. So meek and humble, for those who are meek and humble, the doors of heaven are open. Even in Bible it says that. So Newton was in the last stage of his life. And many people were coming to visit that great personality. So they were trying to talk to him. They were trying to understand his situation, and they were giving condolences. Some people are giving encouragement, all these things and that. So one personal friend, a close friend of Newton, had approached him and asked him, what is that you are feeling at this point? After being so successful in trying to unravel many things which common men could not have understood. So all that mysteries remained unknown till now if you would not have explained to us. So Newton only smiled. He said, far from feeling proud, I feel like a small child who has picked up a few pebbles on the ocean, on the vast ocean. But the vast ocean of truth lies unexplored before my eager eyes. So that is a great personality. They were always humble. They were always able to understand that the Lord is the greatest personality. And we have just a fragment, like we are playing with marbles. There are many, many big, valuable stones on that ocean of knowledge. So then Arjuna continues the inquiry. He wanted to know more about the Lord. So he puts forward his inquiry. All of you can recite with us. Vaktum arhasi asheshena.
Vaktum arhasi asheshena.
Divyahi atma vibhutayaha.
Divyahi atma vibhutaya.
Yabhir vibhutibhir lokan.
Yabhir vibhutibhir lokan.
Imam stvam vyapya tishtasi.
Imam
Stam vyapya tishtasi.
Vaktum arhasi asheshena.
Vaktum arhasi asheshena.
Divyahi atma vibhutayaha.
Divyahi atma vibhutaya.
Yabhir vibhutibhir lokan.
Yabhir vibhutibhir lokan.
Imam stvam vyapya tishtasi.
Imam stvam vyapya tishtasi.
Vaktum arhasi asheshena. Whatever I have elaborately described, or I am questioning, Divyahi atma vibhutayaha. So I want to understand your powers which are transcendental. Yabhir vibhutibhir lokan, by which you spread across this world. Imam swam vyapya tishtasi, and how you abide by them. So please tell me in detail of your divine powers. Divyahi atma vibhutayaha, by which you pervade all these worlds. Yabhir vibhutibhir lokan, and abide in them. Imam swam vyapya tishtati. So what is the specific purpose of Arjuna in asking Krishna about his powers? Because Arjuna is already satisfied with his understanding, but Arjuna's personal experience, intelligence and knowledge, and whatever else a person may have thought in all these agencies, by Krishna's grace, Arjuna could get all the details, whatever is required. He could understand the position of the Lord as a supreme personality. For him, there is no doubt. For on behalf of common people who are not able to perceive the Lord, he is putting forward these questions, especially so that even the impersonalists and common men could understand the absolute pervading nature, all pervading nature of the Lord. How he is existing in his all pervading aspect through his different energies. So one should know that this is being asked by Arjuna on behalf of common people. So next, continuing that question itself, Katam vidyam aham yogims.
Katam vidyam aham yogim.
Tvam sada parichintayan.
Tvam sada parisintayan.
Keshu keshu cha bhaveshu.
Keshu cha bhaveshu.
Chintyosi bhagavan maya.
Chintyosi bhagavan maya.
Katam vidyam aham yogims.
Katam vidyam aham yogim.
Tvam sada parichintayan.
Tvam sada parisintayan.
Keshu keshu cha bhaveshu.
Keshu cha bhaveshu.
Chintyosi bhagavan maya.
Chintyosi bhagavan maya.
So Arjuna is saying, how should I meditate on you? In what forms, various forms are you to be contemplated? Keshu keshu cha bhaveshu. Katam vidyam aham yogim tvam sada parichintayan. I should parichintayan. How should I contemplate? How should I meditate? Chintyosi. How should I think of you? Bhagavan maya, O Supreme Lord, you are Bhagavan. So what is the specific intention of Arjuna in asking these questions? So as stated in the previous chapter, Krishna is covered by his yoga maya samavritaha. Only surrendered souls and devotees can see him. So Arjuna is convinced about his friend Krishna, but he wants to know the general process by which the Lord could be understood by common men. This common man includes demons and demigods, atheists, so that they can be educated and how Krishna is guarded by his Yogamaya covering potency. So all these questions of Arjuna are for our benefit. So what is the behavior of Arjuna being the greatest Vaishnava? What is his behavior? The superior devotee is not only concerned for his own understanding, but for the understanding of all mankind. That is their compassion. So out of his mercy, an Arjuna devotee, a Vaishnava, is opening the understanding for the common man as far as the all pervasiveness of the Lord is concerned. And the Lord is mentioned here as Yogin because he is the master of Yogamaya energy, by which he becomes covered or uncovered to the common man. So significance of Arjuna's thinking for common materialistic people is, for common man who has no love for Krishna cannot always think of Krishna. Therefore, he has to be taught materially. Because materialists cannot understand Krishna spiritually, they are advised to concentrate the mind on physical things and try to see how Krishna is manifest by physical representations. So this is what the illusion looks like. It is a rope or a snake, material world, that illusory perspective of not able to perceive the Lord. And Mayavada, as taught by Shankaracharya philosophy, which says Brahma Satya Jagan Mithya, that Lord, Brahma is Satya, the eternal energy is truth, but this Jagat material world is Mithya. See, Vaishnava's understanding is this Brahman is Satya, that is correct, but Jagat is not Mithya. It is not illusion, it is a temporary state. So in that perspective, we have to understand there are different levels of Brahman. The Lord's effulgence, Lord's Paramatma future, the Bhagavan future, that is what Bhagavatam is explaining. So what is Maya? So there were a group of thieves, around 20-25 people, who had approached a bank that included 20 people, 4 women and 2 children. So everyone had a successful role or a specific role, and they successfully executed looting a bank for 1 crore rupees. So after they went to their hideout, there was a big quarrel on how to distribute. So there were 2 big guys who were dominating the entire area. So they could not come to any conclusion. They were fighting like cats and dogs. So next day they thought, let us distribute fairly and a civilized democratic way. We'll all elect and we'll all vote and elect a person. He will divide fairly and we should all abide by that order. So then discussion started whether women should have vote or not. So women's rights issue came. So children's rights issue was then, how can these children, bachas, they can vote? So again, it became inconclusive. Next day, they formed a 4-man subcommittee. They wanted to formalize a constitution, how it will be fairly divided. So the discussion is all about fairly distributing that ill-gotten wealth, constitution, democracy, women rights, child rights. They were all talking all these aspects. So people may talk all these things, civilized, enlightened, great, sophisticated ideas, how to own, distribute, exploit. But if you don't recognize the relationship with the Supreme Lord, we all become like that honest thieves. So police came and caught in all this discussion in between. So in the trial court, the advocate, he was saying, they were all trying to distribute fairly in a democratic way. Please pardon them. So will the court pardon them? So this is a no meaning process. So this Maya is trying to make us, trying to go around in checker, not able to come us to the conclusion. So unless you hold on to the mercy of Vaishnavas, the Acharyas, there is no possibility for us to come out of this Maya. So that is what the mercy, what Krishna had given to us in this material world, in the form of his representatives, the devotees. So the final part of the question is concluded in this verse. All of you can recite. Vistarena atmano yogam.
Vistarena yogam.
Vibhutim cha janardana.
Vibhutim cha janardana.
Bhuya kataya triptirhi.
Bhuya kataya triptirhi.
Shunmato nasti me amrutam.
Shunmato nasti me
amrutam.
Vistarena atmano yogam.
Vistarena atmano yogam.
Vibhutim cha janardana.
Vibhutim cha janardana.
Bhuya kataya triptirhi.
Bhuya kataya triptirhi.
Shunmato nasti me amrutam.
Shunmato nasti me amrutam.
So Arjuna wanted to know Vistarena Atmano Yogam. He wanted to know elaborately Atmano Yogam. all about in detail. Vibhutimta Janardana, all the opulence about the Lord. Bhuyah Kataya Truptirhi, by which there is no truptihi, satisfaction. Shunvato Nastime Amritam, it is like Amrita, nectar. I want to hear more and more. There is no satiation in hearing. So Krishna is saying, tell me again in detail. Vistaren Atmano Yogam, of all your mighty potencies and glories. Vibhutimcha Janardana, for I never tire of hearing. Bhuyah Kataya Truptirhi, of your ambrosial words. Shunvato na astime amrutam. They are like amruta, ambrosial words. So on what topics is Arjuna specifically interested to hear? He wanted to hear how the Lord is all pervading in this material world. So even in that 6 questions of sages of Naimisharanya to Suta Goswami, they are says, Vayam tu na viprutyamaha uttama shloka vikrame. We are not vitrupyamaha, we are not fully satisfied. We want to hear more and more about the Lord. So that is the nature of the devotees. They want to hear more and more about the Lord. And significance of the word amrutam, nectar. So any narration concerning the Lord is nectar to the ears. And this can be practically experienced by perceived by personal experience. Like when the narrations are being heard, you can visualize the pastimes of the Lord happening in front of our eyes. And one never tires of hearing about Krishna, unlike modern stories. So Puranas are histories of bygone ages, which relate pastime of various incarnations of the Lord. So it becomes a reading matter, however, remains fresh despite repeated readings. Who is Shishupala? Jai Vijaya. Shishupala and Dantavakra are Jai Vijaya, who had fell down from the spiritual abode. Did they fell down, or it is a pastime enacted by the Lord? So why it took? Because generally Shastra says anybody killed by the Lord will get liberation. So why did Lord had to kill them 3 times for giving liberation? When they were earlier also killed by the Lord only? Did they not get liberation at that time? Then did they again fall down from the spiritual world when they get liberation? So what actually happened? Even though they were killed by the Lord, it is the consciousness what matters. So Prabhupada in one purport in Adilila, he explains, why these 3 lives? Referring to Vishnu Purana, where Maitreya is asking Parashara about this Jaya Vijaya fall down, how it is that Hiranyakashipu next became Ravana and enjoyed more material happiness than the demigods, but did not attain salvation. Although when he became Shishupala, quarreled with Krishna and was killed, he attained salvation and merged into the body of Lord Krishna. Parasara replied, Hiranyakashipu failed to recognize Lord Narasimha as Lord Vishnu. He thought Narasimha was some living entity who had acquired such opulence by various pious activities. Being overcome by the mode of passion, he considered Narasimha as ordinary living entity, not understanding his form. Nevertheless, because Hiranyakashipu was killed by the Lord Narasimha in his next life he became Ravana and had the proprietorship of unlimited opulence. He was thinking he is a great man. He was never thinking Krishna as the Supreme Lord as Narasimha. That's why in the next life, he wanted to achieve that opulence like the Lord. Because he was contemplating, he is more stronger than me, that's why he is able to kill me. I have to become more stronger like him. So that's why he became Ravana. As Ravana with unlimited material enjoyment, he could not accept Lord Rama as the personality of Godhead. Therefore, even though he was killed by Rama, he did not attain Sahyujya or oneness with the Lord. In his Ravana body, he was too much attracted to Sita Devi. And because of that attraction, he was able to see Lord Rama. So how he was qualified that Rama came to him? Because he was very much attached to Sita. By contemplating on Sita, he became qualified to see Rama. But instead of accepting Lord Rama as incarnation of Vishnu, Ravana thought him as ordinary human being. And when killed by the hands of Rama, he got the privilege of taking birth as Shishupala, who had immense opulence that he could think himself as competitor to Lord Krishna. Although Shishupala was envious of Krishna, he frequently uttered the name of Krishna and always thought of the beautiful features of Krishna. Thus, by constantly thinking and chanting of Krishna, even unfavorably, he was cleansed of the contamination of his sinful activities. When Shishupala was killed by the Sudarshan Chakra, his constant remembrance of Krishna dissolved the reactions of his sins, and he attained salvation by becoming one with the body of the Lord. Then when did they go back to the spiritual world? So Acharyas explain. So when Krishna came to this material world, all the Vishnu incarnations and many other personalities were present in the body of the Lord. So when Krishna was quitting this world and going back home, back to Godhead, and he was at every place, he is leaving that particular people there. Like in a bus, you have 100 people, and you are going from destination 1 to destination 10. So when destination 2 comes, some few people get down there. 3, some people get down there. 4, some people get down there. So when Kshirodakshaya Vishnu was also there in the body of the Lord. So when he was disposing Kshirodakshaya Vishnu in the material Vaikunta, at that time Jaya Vijaya are also disposed along with Kshirodakshaya Vishnu. In that way, they went back and resumed their position as Jaya Vijaya, the doorkeepers of the Lord. That is how it is said that even though they merged into the body of the Lord, they attained their position as Jaya Vijaya and resumed their services. Who is Shishupala? So this is the perspective what we could understand from the Lord. So any details? Any questions, please?
Prabhu, all the demons he killed 3 times, Prabhu.
No. This specific demon, because there is one more boon also for them, that 3 lives of demons are 7 lives of demigods. Jai Vijaya only had that option.
Okay.
Because they were cursed to take 3 lives. Generally, the principle what we are saying is, anybody killed by the Lord gets a Sahicha Mukti. So how can they continue the 3 lifetimes? So that understanding but clarified by Prabhupada in one Chaitanya Charitamrita. Okay, then thank you all of you. We'll meet again next week. We'll try to understand stories of the Lord in various phases. Was the audio audible? Is it very slow or is it audible?
It's normal.
Okay.
Yes, clear, Prabhu. Yeah.
Okay, then thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.